Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. My name is Algirdas Stonys. Most of you might know me from company Telesoftas, the mobile application company from Lithuania. And today we're going to host a panel discussion regarding the world of mobile. And we have our special guest, Miss Edith Yeung. Close. Close. And also we have product developer leader in Omnitel, Mr. Jonas Davalga. Chief Executive Officer of AppCamp, Mr. Tomas Martunas. And Gigi Wang from MG. Thank you very much. It's really good to see you in this in Lithuania. And today we have this hot topic. Actually, it is very, very broad topic. The world of mobile is actually not the world that belongs to mobile anymore. This world is our world, and mobile is just a technology that is used by us in our day-to-day life. There is a lot of business models. There is multi-billion businesses in this topic, and actually there is a lot of problems. There is problems like iPhone versus Android, and then Samsung versus Apple. What is important in the world of mobile at the moment is how can you be innovative enough and fast enough to feel the trend in the market and build a successful business. So, dear panelists, you have been today in this first day of Silicon Valley comes to Baltics. And what are the insights from the business models that you have seen today? How do you think? Every business model that was presented was or with the mobile technology, or was assuming that it has a mobile technology. So from your experience, how many startups that are using the mobile technology are being successful? Well, from your experience in the investment, and if, for example, we take your portfolio, then how many startups has the mobile apps in their business models? I think maybe Miss Gigi, can you, Edith, yes, Gigi.
I will start. In terms of the mobile industry, in investing in mobile, I want to go back to the internet industry back in the mid-90s, is that around the world, but primarily in the US, the internet industry was not regulated. The government did not set a lot of rules. They let the companies do new business models, collect revenue in new ways, like eBay, like selling on Amazon. They did not do a lot of taxing and rules on the internet. So as a result, there was a lot of companies that got rich by creating pure internet models like eBay, like Amazon. You know, all these exchanges made a lot of money. Now, when you look at the mobile industry in the US, there was a lot of regulation. Like before someone could do a marketing campaign with SMS, it had to go through government approval to make sure it was okay. And there was a lot of restrictions and government regulation of like the costs of using mobile, both for data and for texting. And as a result, it's really hurt mobile startups from making lots of money. Like they're besides the carriers, you cannot find very many pure mobile companies that are billion-dollar companies. You know, other than the device manufacturers and the operators. So if you look at companies which make money in mobile, I personally would look at companies which extend existing successful markets into mobile. Like, for example, there's a restaurant reservation service called Open Table in the US, and it recently went public, I believe, for like $600 million. And they've done an app on mobile, which I use all the time, you know, because you're always around, and if you're with some business partners and you're looking for a restaurant, you have your phone and you can find a restaurant. So I think like the mobile companies with the most potential for making lots of money are the ones that are built on existing markets.
Exactly, just like the tennis court reservation system we had seen today. So,
yeah.
Tomas, what about you?
Smash rules. Good. I would support Gigi, and I would just ask the audience, how many of you don't have the phone? Could somebody raise the hand?
No one raises their hand.
So if looking from the company's perspective, then this is an answer. If there are companies who wants that you are buying their goods, they need to become mobile, and this is an answer. So it means that 100% of companies who still wants to survive in this new economy, they must become mobile. And it's a huge opportunity for everyone. It's just a matter that first it starts big companies, then it becomes cheaper, then it's going to be SMEs, and then even SSE companies will do it. And I believe that some of you will find like it was Amazon or eBay, purely mobile businesses on their own. And I believe that there will be such a companies who will be just mobile, and they will not even do anything in internet or anything in retail, because they believe that this is the cheapest, the most lean way to do business. And they're going to be successful. But right now, I haven't seen such a companies, maybe Angry Birds, which I would say great extending into from virtual game to normal goods and using their brand. I think this is the great strategy they employed, and they're doing, I believe, quite well. So this is an answer. I believe everyone will become mobile.
Exactly, to bring the value to the customers. So, Jonas, what about the politics of the operators, and how are you going to earn money all from this? Because that's on your network, and somehow all this business, all this revenue is going through you. And are you going to take your share?
In a way, you're right, because during the last 3 years, we are heavily investing into building this community, app community. We are heavily investing in selling different smart things. According to if we take the figures, so right now in Lithuania we have more than 800,000 smart devices. Next year we'll have 1.6 million devices. So if you take the Lithuanian amount of inhabitants, so it's half of them have smartphones. So the background is there. Then we, together with AppCam, been initiating the community and uniting the whole community of app developers. Also, I would really highlight the importance of such events, because to my understanding, there is a big gap between, let's say, two blocks. One block is the competence of this society that is in the audience and watching on the internet. Also, we are #1 in the world according to the infrastructure, internet infrastructure.
Yes, yes.
And we are in top 10 according to the smart penetration. But if you take the statistic of what are the conditions of starting your own business, so Lithuania is in honorable 107th place in the world. So there is a huge gap, and I hope that such events will make that gap smaller.
Yes, but is it some Your strategy at the moment is to encourage and inspire people to start their business, to include the mobile technology into their existing business models. But are you going to take any actions about like investing and actively like acquiring some of those prospective ones?
Yeah, we are going to do that because right now, what happened in Lithuania and basically in all other countries, at least in Europe, that the amount of equipment increased significantly, but amount of content was dragging behind. So what we did, we were investing in our own product. Also, we were investing a lot in distributional channels. Like we have this app discovery product that is launched in Lithuania, first country in the world. And now, right now, it's launching in Telesonera. And also, we have a target to make a competence center of all Telesonera group here in Lithuania, as we are uniting the society, and and this society is really capable to do great products and earn money. Also, we have great cooperation with universities. We launched free laboratories in universities during this year in business. So, I would say all conditions are there, and we are ready to go with any direction of the mobile that will be offered to us.
Thank you, thank you. Edith from Right Venture. So what about your strategy on the investment into the business models that have mobile technology?
So before I go into investment, I want to you share some of the numbers, which I think is very interesting to know, especially my first time in the Baltics. I really have no idea in terms of numbers. But actually, I quite often tweet about, just in general mobile trends. I was just looking at my own tweets. Gartner actually last week published some of the data around smartphone. For this year, there's going to be 821 million smartphones sold worldwide. 821 million. And then next year, what they're predicting is 1.3 billion. There's a lot of people. And also to put things in perspective, there's a couple of things quite interesting to me, is the #1 market for smartphone is actually about 1 billion smartphone for that particular country is China. And then the #2 highest region, funny enough, is actually Africa. 700 some million smartphone is being sold. For me personally, I think smartphone is probably the best thing happened since sliced bread, and in many ways have to do with, you think about it, I think it's even bigger than PC, because you could be the poorest person and sitting in the middle of like India and still have the same access to the internet than you and I sitting here. That's the part that's amazing. And Gigi sort of touched on, sort of compare what happened in the 90s. And, the analogy I like to, and I just tweeted about that too, Android is like Windows, from 20 years ago, because it's very open. There's a lot of developers now, maybe like 600 or 700,000, Android apps, which is actually more than, Apple. And if you look at it, now Android smartphone is selling more than PC. This is a known fact. So this is the part that I think is why we're all sitting here. And I think we should stop talking about mobile is a trend. It's not a trend. It's a given. It's a fact. It's actually a default. I will almost, other than, of course, if you focus on development platforms and more infrastructure stuff, but if you are a commerce, a merchant, or if you're selling anything and you're not thinking about mobile, there is really something wrong with you. Because there are so many people now have access to your product being on the smartphone versus in a PC. So.
Yes, but still on the innovation part, I think 2 or 3 years ago, we had this saturation in the market for the mobile phones, and there was directions on where mobile technology is going, like mobile payments, mobile health, mobile education, mobile elections, mobile government, and there were several streams of how this mobile technology should improve the lives of the ordinary people. And still, in some countries, we see that those directions are evolving, but still slowly. Well, mobile retail probably and mobile gaming is the mostly evolved right now. But what about the other perspective directions that you think, where next should our young developers focus on, and where next they should go, and what kind of cool application in what directions they should develop, where you would invest? What kind of the most important direction of the business done on mobile phones you think it is right now in the world?
So for Right Ventures particularly, we focus on investing mostly mobile productivities, utility type apps. I actually don't, I mean, I have basic understanding, but I definitely don't go close to any gaming because it's just a really, really different economy. But in terms of things that, you know, I am excited about, well, I'm excited about more for a trend, not necessarily me on a regular basis, that think about mobile for enterprise. And I think, you know, anything is that once there's enough consumer mass, then the business want to come in. And, you know, mobile for enterprise also means mobile security, because if it's not secure enough, it's not, the enterprise is not going to go for it. Imagine like if you're the CIO for some big companies, in the past they have to support BlackBerry, and now they have to worry about iPhone and Android phone. I just can't imagine how annoyed the IT department is, but unfortunately this is a fact, so there's something to think about. I think the way that I look at, you know, mobile security, mobile payment, it's more like infrastructure things that just need to be solved. I think that, you know, probably from your side you can answer a little bit more on, like, on the network. And it really is not because the technology isn't there, it's really the network can support it fast enough. And frankly, I think that, you know, the carriers, the operators now are trying to think of many, many ways to how do you actually work with and, you know, work with the developers so that there is more revenue to the carriers, which I would love to hear your thought. But on the other hand, another thing I think very exciting is that now it's so cheap to create a mobile app. There is a lot of really, really awesome mobile developer platforms and infrastructure and platforms that, you know, all of us, and in fact, I have to pin one of my company out, it's called Strikingly. You can create a mobile website in like less than 30 seconds. Like that's, sorry, not 15 minutes, sorry, not 30 seconds. That's like super easy, anybody can do it. So I think in terms of software layer is there. And last but not least, just to throw it in, is I'm really, really big on HTML5, obviously because Dolphin, which I spend 80% of my time, a mobile browser. So why do we need to install any app? Why couldn't we run everything on a browser?
Because it's slow.
And it has nothing to do with the software layer. There's a lot of things that need to happen. Of course, it's still the beginning. But just like why there's SaaS from 20 years ago, and why, like, there's no question now, but it was a problem before.
Well, I would say, okay, Jonas, you can.
Maybe I shortly add, I totally agree, and especially about the gaming industry, because it's totally different. The competition there is just unbelievable. So I would say be careful with that area. But definitely just not to list all the areas where mobile can be useful. I would state that each developer or each startup should understand the whole logic of the mobile, because the habits and on the computer are completely different than habits on the phone. But if there are any type of functions or services that easy to use, meaning 1 to 3 buttons, you need them right here, right now, then mobile is suitable for the service. Because mobile phone is probably the only one device that person carries from the morning till evening, and the interaction of mobile phone is the highest compared to any other item. And also, for example, you will, it's not good for filling in the declaration on the phone, but to pay, let's say, for the parking, or to pay for a certain service, or to see how efficient you are, or how many kilometers you have just run. then it's really useful. So if you understand the whole logic of the mobile essence, you can adopt your business case really easily.
Okay. So Tomai, I would say in this case, you are a software house and developing new products of applications. And how do you feel? Like, what kind of application shall bring you the most money?
Okay, so I will not be unique because I will support those two guys, but I'll tell three things. One is that mobility and security is included in that mobility. I believe that it's a lot of businesses and it's mostly mobile employees and it's huge potential over there. If you need to understand, I would say what brings an apps for the companies, they first lean it. It means that company, then you have a website with 100 buttons, you never thought about the process, how you go, and then you say, okay, now let's do an app, and you need to think, okay, this role is doing those functions, so they need only 4 buttons. This role is doing another functions, and they need only 2 buttons. And this is a nice inventory of your business as itself. So I believe an app puts a good efficiency, so mobility. The second group, which is huge, and it's billions of dollars, it's M2M. The TV becomes smart, the refrigerators will become smart. We saw in App Camp the guys who did that, the robot which the Yeung can control through the phone. I mean, why then you need some different, small things to control it? Everything can be in the phone. So this is, I think, a great opportunity about M2M. And the third, I believe you'll be billionaires if you will just create a good battery for the phone who would keep a phone for 5 days, as it was in old Nokias. It's gonna be great, guys. You do that patent and you'll become billionaires.
Or maybe less consumptive devices.
But we know from the iPad that Apple can create a long-lasting battery, right? But they didn't put it in the iPhone so they can sell us a new iPhone with a good battery.
Yeah,
So,
it's 6.
six. So I actually think that one of the really areas of big opportunity is mobile payments. Even though it's been long to come because payments is a tough area, there's a lot of financial regulation systems. I want to ask, how many people here have a wallet in their pocket or purse?
Everybody.
Nah, I didn't see everybody. How many of you have cash in your pocket or purse? Wow, that's more. Wow. And how many of you have cell phones? See, that's unanimous. So you always have your cell phone. And so using your cell phone to pay, I think, is going to be great. And it may not be a payment system like, there's companies like OboPay, different ones like Boku in the US, where it's actually a payment system on the phone. Retailers themselves are putting on payment systems. So like the largest coffee shop chain in the US, Starbucks, they have a payment system that's in their Starbucks app. And you can use that, go into the app and pay for your coffee. So there's times when I don't have my wallet, all I need is be able to pay for my coffee at Starbucks.
That's excellent. However, maybe, Gigi, you can share with us the experience on how it is done in the USA, because we have several platforms in Lithuania that are allowing mobile payments, including some banks. And I've heard some new products from Visa have been introduced in USA regarding the authentication, the mobile authentication. Is being introduced? Do you have this mobile signature on your SIM card that you can use as a credit card already, or is it coming?
I think Visa's been working on it, and a huge issue about Visa is they're trialing some services, but it's the adoption. People aren't that comfortable with it yet. There is one thing about mobile payments that's been very successful is the Square, okay? And the huge issue about mobile payments, like with credit cards on a phone, is the hardware and the software to provide secure transactions, okay? That's a really, really tightly regulated, tightly complex thing in the US. So one company came up with this little add-on. It's called Square. You put it on your iPhone, and then you can actually accept credit card payments. And that's really useful to people who are professionals, like a doctor, like a service provider, where they can just buy the Square hardware and subscribe to the service, and now accept credit card payments. So that's something that's really been very useful and actually widely adopted. In terms of all the different other types of payments, you keep seeing companies try, but not really get wide, majority adoption, is things like near field. Apple was supposed to put the chip in there so you could do NFC, near field communications. It's still not there yet, but where you see near field communications on the mobile phone a lot is in Japan. It's in all the Japanese phones, and a lot of people use their phones to pay for their bus ticket, to pay for their convenience stores. It's really amazing, and I really don't understand why it's been so slow for adoption in the US. And then, of course, there's also
the security issue with encryption and everything.
But if Japan can do it, why can't the US?
Well, the legal system is more difficult.
So it's not security, it's back to American regulation. So,
Jonas, maybe you can share the experience in Lithuania regarding the mobile payments.
So we had a partner together with the MokiPay that still exists. Actually, I think we were the first country in the world, because there were some certain business cases before, but it was not in the country, it was in the cities. And we definitely see potential here, because maybe from the operator view, we don't want to be the owners of all platforms and so on, but basically we as operator can enable all users to use mobile payments. Whatever mobile payment it will be, whether it will be e-signature based, by the way we have e-signature in Lithuania, whether it will be Visa or MasterCard, whether it will be a joint product of the banks. In Scandinavia, we have a joint venture where all operators in Telesonera joined to one company and created mobile wallet. So different type of models are possible. But in this case, operator is like some kind of distribution channel for mobile payments. But definitely we are heavily looking at it, and since certain strong partner will appear on the market, we are very looking forward to that.
Edith has a comment.
I think that in general, compared to Asia, like Gigi was saying, US definitely behind in many ways on mobile payment. And main reason actually have nothing to do with security or technology is because the bank doesn't like to talk to the carrier. That's really the problem. The fact, I was actually talking to a company started by a couple of Visa guys, and they are working on basically using, and actually they told me that they don't want to do operator billing, but what they couldn't do is charge anything more than $25 on your phone bill. So even though they can actually enable payment, like buying a TV off from Best Buy, but legally they can't. The law didn't allow them to do it. So it have nothing to do with technology. Is because in Asia, like in Japan, as Gigi was saying, is that everyone, if I'm not mistaken, they actually have a company where all the carriers or all the bank sort of invested in this one company, and then they made it happen because that facilitated the conversation there. But on the other hand, I was just kind of thinking through, I opened up my phone. I started to pay for a few things purely through my mobile phone. There's a company that I got picked up on, City B, the car. We have that, which is Zipcar. which I use Zipcar. I don't never have any transaction. We have a Uber, which is basically kind of nice limousine taxi. Never have money exchange, so I use my mobile phone for that as well. There's a friend of ours earlier was talking about Grubly, like food. There's a whole bunch of things that U.S. staff definitely started to use purely mobile to pay for some of these things, but unfortunately, it's not as amazing as what it could be like. And I was talking to another person who's from a group yesterday in Africa, something called M-Pesa, it's just in Africa, and he was saying like in Kenya, they basically pay for everything through it. There's no, and even that the tour guide was charging it using M-Pesa. And I was thinking, wow, we're really behind if you are comparing these great examples.
Well, actually, Yona, you have mentioned the business case with the MokiPay. And so in Lithuania, we have a mobile payment solution that was one of the pioneering mobile payment solutions. So, Yona, maybe you can share what kind of obstacles have you met? Why was the growth so slow, and what was the main challenge for you for Omnitel and your partner MokiPay?
I would say a couple of challenges. First challenge, if you want to implement mobile payment, you have heavily invest in the infrastructure. That concerns readers. If it is, if in the infrastructure is independent, you have to put reader in every shop, every supermarket, every cafe, and so on. That requires heavy investment. Next step, what you should really care about is training, because if you introduce new type of payment, every staff, in whatever it is, in supermarket, in the hotel, should know how to use it. By the way, that was a big problem in our case, when people were just afraid to use it. And of course, and the third thing is that mobile payment should be much more attractive than the other payment methods. Because if you take a credit card, nobody see any issues to pay with the credit card. And if you say that with the mobile phone you will pay in 2 seconds, and with the credit card you pay in 3 seconds, who cares? Because it's only 1 second difference. But so mobile payment are pretty much related with the mobile content, meaning if you can pay with the mobile phone for, let's say, cinema ticket, and you get the tickets on your phone, that's the real value, because you don't have to go to the cinema, stay in the crowd for this vampire film. Tomorrow is the premiere, right? So yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, but if you want to go to buy the tickets, so probably all are sold out, right? But with a mobile phone, you just can pay, get the barcode, because according to the statistics, the price of optical scanners, the scanners that can scan from the screen, will drop 3 times in the coming 5 years. So right now, majority of the shops are using laser scanners. They don't work with the screens. But so this breakthrough will happen really soon. So
guys, we have just a few minutes left, so
no
final
problem.
remarks,
So
final
that's the
comments.
conclusion. Tomas,
Yeah.
so
I can give a little bit add-on, because I was 13 years before I joined AppCamp in the banking, and we were running 10 years ago in Swedbank. I appeared to implement mobile banking, and then I left. We were talking about a lot of projects, and I believe my Swedish boss will manage to implement it. One thing what I can share, and it's not confident, is that what we find out that one bank cannot do anything, and you need a cooperation. And if you have in the country 10 banks, to agree on the one table, it's quite hard. On another side, in mobile payments, we do have in Sweden 2 different associations, one made by operators, another by the banks, and they're not talking between each other. And we say that in Lithuania, the only way, if we want to make the breakthrough, it means that we need to sit down those 3 carriers and 9 banks. And this association can fly. And this is the only way how you can do it. And of course, that it was with internet bank, comparing to the bank branches, it was the favor of the payment structure. It meant that it was like 3 times cheaper to do it in the internet, then everyone went to the internet. If you want to do it in mobile, first you need to do some favor, so the people change their habits, and then you can triple prices, and everybody will not come back to the branches or even to the internet. So this is the way moving forward. It's only cooperation.
Yes, of course.
So based on what everyone's saying here is if the banks collaborate with the mobile operators, with the apps, this mobile payment market would be so much bigger and everyone would be making money.
So, dear students, startups, Lithuanian community, the big money is coming, and soon we will be able to get all these revenues from the payments, and absolutely any business model will fly. Just do the applications. Go mobile now.